George K. Fadel was born on December 20th, 1920 in Salt Lake City, Utah, the 8th child of Kaylee S. Fadel and Besma Oswald Fadel. He had 4 sisters and 4 brothers.
The family lived in Salt Lake City and ran a dry goods store. With the difficulties associated with the Great Depression, in about 1923, they began spending summers on the 27-acre farm in Bountiful to raise food. On the farm, the family of 10 shared the limited space of 1 bedroom and 1 general room. In 1925, they built onto the front of the house with beautiful rocks gathered from the farm, and the farm became their permanent residence.
The family worked, played, studied, and prayed together. It took everyone to care for the farm, a dress shop they opened on Main Street in Bountiful, the house, and the children. They also cared for others who came to visit. They finally got indoor plumbing in about 1930, and they had 2 bedrooms where it was only natural to sleep forward to their bed.
George attended Stoker Elementary School in Bountiful, which was torn down a few years ago to make way for a new city park. His junior high, however, is still standing, though it has gone through several renovations. It is currently called Bountiful Junior High, but when he went there, it was called South Davis Junior High. He served as the president of the school during his final year.
George learned how to work and play hard on the farm and on the surrounding hills. He hunted and fished with his dad, others, and alone. He could just walk up the hill from the farm by the canyon where the bee is and find animals to hunt and fish to catch.
For fun in the summer, he would play softball and he became a good catcher. He would also play touch football in the hayfields and swam in the reservoir, which is now our swimming pool, rode horses, and went to lagoon. In the winter, they would sled down many hills, but the best hill was on 400 North between Davis Boulevard and 400 East.
In junior high, he did not only work on the farm, he also clerked in the dress shop, waiting on the ladies and selling dresses and lingerie.
For high school, George rode the Bamberger train to Kaysville to attend Davis High School. The student body officers consisted of a president, vice president, secretary, and a yell leader. For his sophomore year, the yell leader chose him as his assistant. And after that, George was elected as yell leader for the next 2 years. He also excelled on the debate team and school plays. He was especially talented in extemporaneous speech contests.
When George attended the University of Utah, he studied, worked as a stagehand for $12 a month, and starred in plays. He was in the Reserve Officers Training Corps, the ROTC, and earned medals and honors. He graduated from the University of Utah and began law school in 1941.
George was commissioned as second lieutenant through ROTC and then had to go to Fort Sill, Oklahoma for artillery school for 3 months. He advanced to first lieutenant and was shipped overseas to Oran, Algeria to serve in World War II. It took 6 days to get there. After a couple of weeks, he crossed the rough Mediterranean Sea to Naples in Italy.
George served as an artillery captain for 3 years in Italy, camping and fighting in Naples and Monte Cassino, and following the retreating Germans to Rome, Florence, and Pisa. He was in 8-inch artillery, where the projectiles were 8 inches in diameter, about 3 feet long, weighing 200 pounds. His job was to get a location from battalion headquarters over the phone that would tell the direction and distance of the target. He would tell the battery the direction and elevation, and when they were ready, he would say, "Number 1, fire," or "Battery, fire." He had to hold the telephone to his ears so he could hear if they were having trouble, and the blasts in his ear caused his hearing loss.
From Italy, they crossed by boats to France and then Belgium, traveling with 8 to 10 trucks, 3 jeeps, and 4 big guns pulled by track movers. George rode in the front jeep.
Near Christmas time in 1944, they were in Belgium. The men were gathered together and not spreading out like they should. Captain Fadel ordered them to spread out as they began to get shelled. They dove to the ground, hearing the shells come in. They made it that time.
As the war wound down in Europe, George was sent to Austria to train new recruits. It was like a vacation there because he was able to ride horses, hunt, and read books in the library. He was finally able to go home in December of 1945.
George began law school again in January 1946 and graduated in June 1948. He served as the city attorney. He was elected mayor of Bountiful in 1953 and served until 1957. As mayor, he established Bountiful City Power, a modernized fire department, and he started the Weber Basin Project so Bountiful would have water for drinking and irrigation.
He served the community as a member of the Rotary, the Jeep Posse, the American Legions, the South Davis Community Hospital Board, the Chamber of Commerce, and the Utah JCs. He also rode horses in parades and performed in roller skating shows.
George began buying land in Bountiful, Centerville, and Farmington and built a house and farm at 1893 South, 50 West in Bountiful, using his talent in rock building in parts of it. He married Janice Louise Lloyd on February 29, 1964. They have 4 children, Kia Lynn, Kristen Louise, Douglas Kelly, and Kara Elizabeth. They love him dearly and are continually amazed at his love and dedication for them.
George has 14 grandchildren. He loves them all dearly and has taught them countless things, including gardening, fishing, hunting, kindness, horseback riding, building, fixing anything that is broken, poetry, service, hard work, optimism, public speaking, and frugality. He has also taught them his trade of rock masonry. He continues to seek to find ways to help them however he can. He cooks dinner for them every week and serves his signature recipes.
Over the years, George has built many literal and figurative, rock-strong foundations and fortresses with his many talents and abilities. He has helped countless people with his quick mind, his kind heart, his dedication to honesty and integrity, and his developed wisdom. One of his mottos comes from a Lebanese saying that says, "Do good, and the bounties will overflow the ocean." We see the ocean overflowing with all the good he continually does.
How do you feel about turning 100 years old? The short answer is grateful. You appreciate every day when you get to be over 90. Maybe when I turned about 90, I got an idea that instead of slowing down, you got to step it up. And that's when I started exercising, but didn't really put emphasis on it until the last 3 or 4 years. And I found that when you feel a pain, most of the time you work on that pain, stretch it, exercise it, and in time it'll go away. It's taken me the last 4 years to eliminate a lot of the stiffness in my neck and a lot of arthritis. And I started using a lot of exercises, but more recently, I found that those exercises, instead of doing them fast, if you do them stretching slowly, it's the stretching that seems to start the circulation. But I still have those shocking things in my neck, but it gets better every day. If you keep working at it, it might go away. There's one thing I have to mention. When our family moved to Bountiful, there was only one other family that was not Anglo-Saxon, and that was not LDS. And it was a Mexican family that lived up the street a little ways. So we were baptized Greek Orthodox in Salt Lake on 3rd South and 3rd West. and of course grew up with Lebanese prayers and thinking we were Greek Orthodox, but my mother always stressed that all religions are good. And so we grew up not going to the Greek church because it was in Salt Lake, too far away. So my sisters and the rest of us were going to primary at the LDS churches. So after a while, they kind of realized, at that time, not being Anglo-Saxon and being brown and not being LDS, right away you're different. And Mother used to teach us that we got to be the best, because when you're a minority, you have to be the best to show them that you're the same. And of course, she had been educated in English schools too, and was a student teacher at the age of 16. And she was broad-minded, and people always respected her for her kindness and her wisdom. She made so many friends in that store down there that I told the people that when somebody put me up for election at mayor at age 34, I didn't run for mayor, but my history teacher, Holbrook, in high school, and the Davis County sheet metal businessman, who was the main businessman downtown, were both Democrats that put my name on the ticket, and I won by about 10 votes. And I always told him later that my mother won that election. They didn't know much about me because she had so many friends, and I still believe that to the day. But then I tried to live up to the task. Seemed like there'd been a lot of big lessons. Maybe the biggest one was when I was 5 and we happened to be still living part-time in Salt Lake. It was down on West Side. And I was out, there was a Ford Model T there, and he was stopped. And I went and held on to the bumper while he was going and accelerating. And the faster he was going, the faster I was having. I had to let it go and it tumbled. I think that was a good lesson. Right to this day, I wonder what would happen if I couldn't let go when I did. There have been a lot of lessons I learned, but I think that one was the best one I learned early on. Don't be a damn fool. What has brought you most joy in the past 100 years? Of course, it has to be, I guess, starting in 1964 when I got married. Because up to that time, it was frolic and fun, but not important. Being a bachelor, particularly after being over 30, you always had in mind that you haven't accomplished anything yet, you don't have a family. And there's a little stigma associated with somebody who's a bachelor. You could still have fun playing, but that's not important. I'm thinking, well, you may not get to be 100 because it's 2 weeks yet, but if you keep going, it might be 110, who knows? So you go day by day, work at it every day, and thank God for every day. Tell me, kind sir, from your many years, how to build a life with fewer tears. The old man stretched back as he talked, saying, start your structure by building on a rock, not softened by caters and greed, but fixed by the mortar of need. And if you're looking for one good tool, there's nothing better than the old golden rule. Your bounties will grow, it is true, if you do unto others as you would others do unto you.